Welcome to your last graphing lines training video. We will end with how to write the equation of a line. There are three main ways that lines are written: slope-intercept form, standard form, and point-slope form. Let's take a look at each one. Slope-intercept form you're already familiar with. We've talked about it in the other video. Just remember that this is the slope, always in front of x, and the y-intercept is there. And we always have to have y by itself in order for it to be in this form. This one is really great for graphing. Really useful lines. Alright, standard form, despite its name, is not very common. You don't see it very much, but it's really helpful for finding intercepts. And you'll see it in other uses as well. They have x and y on the same side in this equation. If we did solve it for y to make it look like slope-intercept form, we'd subtract a, x, divide by b, so it would look something like this, which is where these characteristics come from, where the slope is negative a over b. Right, just take the a, change the sign, divide by b, that's the slope. To find the y-intercept, you can just take a c and divide by b. One important thing to remember about standard form, here's a convention for you. We talked about those in another video. A is always positive in standard form, and a, b, and c are integers, so no fractions or decimals. If it's written something like 1/2 x plus 3y equals 2, we'd multiply everything by 2 to get rid of the fractions, so then it would be 1x plus 6y equals 12. Now it's written in standard form when it wasn't before. So be careful of fractions and make sure that your first coefficient a is always positive. Point slope form they use in statistics and sometimes in calculus. This one's really easy to make an equation for because you pretty much just plop things in. So just as an example, if you had the slope as 2 and it goes through the point 1, negative 4, we'll do another example in a minute, but you just plop that in. Negative 4 is our y. You can make that a plus. Oops, not m, we know what it is, it's 2. And x minus 1. That, like as is, nothing changed. That is in point slope form. You don't even have to simplify it. You could, of course, simplify it. You could make it look like slope-intercept form, but as is, that's point slope form. It's got the point and the slope. There you go. This one actually comes from the slope formula. Think about if you take that formula and then multiply both sides by x minus x1, you have that. Get rid of that fraction there. So they're all connected to slope or to graphing. There's different ways to write a line, but they're all the same line. Let's try it out with one pair of points. So first it says find the equation of a line that contains the points 1, 5, and 5, negative 3. We're going to use these for 3 different forms. So let's start with the process for slope-intercept form. We need first, for all of these, we're going to need the slope. So let's go ahead, I'm just going to find the slope up here. x1, y1, x2, y2. So 5 minus negative 3, 1 minus 5, that's going to be positive 8 over negative 4. My slope that I'm going to keep using is negative 2. Plug in one point, and you're going to plug it into the slope-intercept form. So y equals m is negative 2. B, we don't know. That's what we need to find. When it says to plug in the point, we're going to plug in either one. 1, 5 or 5, negative 3. Let's go ahead and use 1, 5 for this problem. So 5 is y, and 1 is x. And negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add 2 to both sides. 7 is b. Solve for b. That was step 3. Write the equation is step 4. So y equals my slope and my b. And there we go. Negative 2x plus 7. Let's try this out again with standard form. Find the slope, check. The slope is -2. You can even write -2/1. Set equal to -a/b to find a and b. All right, so -2 is -a. There's my -3. Okay. So that means a has to be 2 to give me that -2. And b has to be 1. All right, so I'm going to plug those into standard form. Let's go and write that right here to remind ourselves. Remember a and b and c to be integers, and a needs to be positive. So plug that in. 2x plus 1y equals c. We don't know what c is. We need to plug in 1 point to find it. So let's plug in the other one this time. Let's plug in 5, -3. So that's our x. Oops, I'm already writing 10. And 1 times -3. So we get 10 minus 3 is 7. Alright, 2x plus 1y equals 7. That isn't always the y-intercept. Be careful of that. That's not always c. Alright, that's one. Let's go ahead and do this for point slope form. The plop it in form. That's what I just decided to call it just now. Our slope is -2. And let's go back to using 1, 5. So y, oh, that's right, our formula over here, minus y1, mx minus x1. Okay, y equals, oh, not equals yet, y minus y1, let's see, that's 5, mx minus x1 is 1. The weird thing about point slope is if I had to use the other point, it would look different. Well, they're really the same line. So if I had to use 5, -3, it'd be y minus -3, so plus 3, -2, x minus 5. So if I simplified either of those and got y by itself on one side, they'd look exactly like the slope-intercept form. That's the tricky thing about point slope, is that they will look a little bit different. Okay, that is writing equations of lines. We got 3 forms down. Go ahead and do the worksheet, if you haven't yet, for all of these graphing lines topics. And go ahead and move on to your next videos. Well done.